The art of silent cinema is long since dead. Gone are the days of some guy smashing on a piano to a movie of Charlie Chaplin getting his head bashed in by a falling building or something. So since we're about 100 years removed from the advent of the talkies, as the kids say, that sounds like a good enough reason to dig up Silent Movie's corpse and parade around in it for a little while in an effort to make some cheap, dirty jokes. Of course I'm talking about Joshi Kausei. So if you missed the subtext in my intro, this series has zero dialogue outside some sighs, groans, and laughs, possibly making for the easiest dub anyone could ask for. That's the gimmick they're using to sell this series to people, so if you're looking for some hard-hitting comedic dialogue, you'll be disappointed. And even the description for this series says, "Who needs dialogue when you're this cute?" Which, touche. The series doesn't need dialogue to be entertaining or interesting. A pretentious auteur type may even argue it's a crutch to understanding characters, as body language and physical interactions are the most raw form of communication. Damn, looking at this show in that light makes me feel so fancy. Like sitting back with a cigar and a glass of brandy by the fire sort of fancy. If you're worried such a gimmick doesn't carry a show for long, let me put you at ease. The runtime of each episode is about 3 minutes. It doesn't overstay its welcome, and if you're looking to jump in, it'll only take you about a half hour total to binge the whole series. And yes, that does factor into my recommendations, as longer episodes means more time investment. 12 episodes of a standard 22-minute show is about 4.5 hours of your time, whereas this one will only take you about a half hour to get through. Which leads me into, does the comedy land, or is this show just obnoxious? Well, I actually watched the first episode of this when it aired back in April, and I found myself pretty ambivalent to it. I didn't outright hate it, but I also wasn't in love with it. Plus, with its short runtime, I never actually felt like watching this anime. Shows like this are best for watching in a large chunk. I don't think that bodes well for this series, but after coming back almost 2 months later and giving the show a fair shake, I actually feel like it's okay. As far in as the first episode, and not even the halfway point at that, we've got a pretty good idea of the characters' personalities. Momoko, the cool laid-back one, Shibumi, our standard glasses McTight-ass who likes to goof off with her friends when she's with them, and Mayumi, the short little innocent one. Basic traits to be sure, but it's serviceable when there's not much of a plot, and the runtime's short already. This is the epitome of slice of life after all. So, cute girls doing cute and somewhat entertaining things is the driving force here. Going to school, eating lunch, riding a train, and getting into mishaps along the way for some comedic underscoring. Sometimes with a bit of an etchy edge too, because of course we need some sort of fan service. There's quite a bit of reliance on reaction shots and goofy metaphorical exaggeration to get the point across at times. Like origami being superimposed with the actual animals it's meant to represent, because otherwise the audience would think these characters are complete idiots. But mostly, I think the actual content of this one is on the safe side, if not a tad dull. It's a quick time sink that's there to showcase some high school girls being good friends and doing cute things along the way. And if that's what you're looking for, you'll get something out of it to be sure. I do like the dynamic between the girls, sincerely. But for me, I find this series mostly just middle of the road. The lack of dialogue, while initially intriguing, is quite simply a gimmick this series is using to stand out. The characters still talk to one another, just nothing's actually said. Their lips flap, but no words come out. And while I don't think the gimmick itself ruins this series, I feel the show is held back for it. It's why most shows that try this sort of thing only do it for one episode and have some narrative reason for it. As it is though, this show can't really tell that complex of a story besides sitting around and thought bubbles popping up with pictures to convey what they're talking about or thinking, and that just feels like a workaround for the sake of it. So, is Joshi Kausei good? It has something unique, but it doesn't do anything particularly interesting with it. Nothing stands out besides the fact that there is no dialogue, making this a pretty standard slice of life show focused on cute girls. And that has its appeal, don't get me wrong. But I'm not singing this show's praise for daring to half-assedly cut out speaking from its story. If there's one strong suit, it's the short runtime. So if you're looking to watch this show, I'd recommend waiting until the whole thing airs and binging it in a single sitting. That way you can experience the whole thing and promptly forget about it since it's nothing special. Hey, you made it to the end of the video. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and do all the other YouTube stuff because that really helps me out. Thanks for watching.